Hello, I'm called Tim. It's around noon, so that means it's time for my live hangout. Um, I'm doing this hangout through the YouTube channel again. They change these things around so much, so I'm learning to use it. I want to talk today to Mayor Bill Deblasio, the mayor of the city in which I reside, and I want to say first, congratulations. You won your election overwhelmingly. You know, that's old news. And New York City still has not collapsed into total chaos. And you've been here you've been running it since January, so for 7 months. And for that, you deserve credit because it is a powder keg. So let's get to the questions. First, why is universal pre-K so important when a lot of these children have no permanent residency? Is it really going to help them to have a school to go to when they have to go home through either a shelter or the streets or to sleep on a family member's floor? And sleeping on a family member's floor, we know, is the best option. Okay? Why did you spend so much money on New York City housing, lighting, and policing instead of spending money on repairing units to get some of these people off the street and put roofs over their heads? I would like to have a roof over my head, a permanent roof that is mine, and my name is on the housing list. Sorry. Also, with the violence, we know that a lot of the black on black violence, not all of it, is self-hate, and that's what's driving it. Do you really think you can stop self-hate with policing, even if you use stop and frisk or whatever the case may be? We hate each other. We hate ourselves. And we want to do each other in. And those of us who don't want to do each other in don't seem to care enough. So I think, or do you think, that the best policy is to police us, to try to keep us from doing it, or to just let us kill each other off? Um, I know some of these questions are serious and they're heavy hitting, but I want to get the heavy ones out of the way very early. Uh, Mayor de Blasio, what are you doing about infrastructure and repairs? The city is literally falling apart. I want to know about Workforce One. Why is it that Workforce One will only give you training in the field that you're already in instead of training in a different field? And is this the case only for black people or what? Because I've gone to Workforce One and they would not give me training in a different field. And the lady basically agreed that she could not help me. Maybe Workforce One is not helping anyone. But you answer that question. Also, de Blasio, you're planting a lot of trees. I believe that the goal is to plant 1 million trees. Why not plant fruit trees or nut trees or something that the hungry citizens of New York City can actually use? This way you stop the runoff, you have shade, you beautify the neighborhood, but you also feed people. That might sound like a strange idea to you, but I think that you're going to need it because I'm noticing that food pantries are starting to run low. And here, where I am, there's food pantries, 3 major food pantries. One does it 2 days a week. So that right there tells you how many how many New Yorkers are going hungry. Also, Mayor de Blasio, why, or put it this way, will you ever think about creating more markets like they did on 117th Street? markets in every borough so that we can vend our wares. I'm working with someone to make natural soaps, and I'm working with another person to sell vegan bags. It would be nice if we could vend either out here on the street without a license or in some area that you designate. So tell me, would you think about doing that to help boost some economic, power, or give us some economic incentive, or give us some, basically help us to create our own jobs? Because even though we may not pay taxes on it, we're going to pay taxes anyway because we have to take transit and we have to buy things, which means we pay the sales tax. So would you ever consider doing that? I know that the city council just gave $1.2 million to cooperatives, and I'm going to try to check that out as well. What are we doing about recycling our plastics? Would you ever consider allowing recycling plants to exist in different communities and allowing us to bring our plastics straight to plants and cash it in at the plants? I remember when I was younger, you used to be able to take your metals, plastics, and everything and take it to a plant, and they will weigh it and pay you for the plastic. Would you consider doing something like that? Again, help us to boost the economy. I would gladly do that. I'm trying to think of other questions I have for you, Mayor Deblasio. When it comes to education and technology, would you look to funding those of us who are teaching online? I'm just creating a new educational program called University of Visual Instruction, where I show people how to use movies to learn major topics. And so, would you ever consider giving us the grants for that? Also, Mayor de Blasio, if minorities make a majority of the city, why do we get a minority of the grants? Contracts, city contracts. Okay, why is that? I also wanted to ask de Blasio, why did you pick Bratton to be your police commissioner? Was there no one else? Is there no one else that could run the police department except for Bratton and Ray Kelly? You mean there's no one at One Police Plaza that could run this police department? You have to bring him back, a Giuliani person back? Also, Mayor de Blasio, are you using fines such as jaywalking and littering to help boost the economy? Because I've noticed, I've been hearing that you're giving a lot of tickets for jaywalking, a lot of tickets for littering, and I want to know, is that the route that you're going to go to close budget gaps? I'm trying to think what else I can ask you. I think those are the major issues. I mean, housing is the major issue to me. People living in Grand Central Station, people living in Penn Station, people living in Port Authority, people hanging out in the libraries, people sleeping in emergency rooms. What are you going to do about that? Why isn't that your number one issue over and beyond universal pre-K and education? Education will not matter if you have no place to stay. I've been in shelters and where I had to go to school, and it was very difficult then when the community was semi-intact. Now you're talking about a community, black and brown community, that's in shambles. Well, let me speak for the black community. So I hope that you will do something about housing, and I wish you health, well-being, and tell Dante that we said hello and the rest of the family. and we love the fro. To me, the afro is a deeper symbol than the election itself. So if no one of my viewers or anyone in the chat room have anything to say, speak now. If ever hold your peace, going once, going twice, 3 times. If you are saying keep your head up, it's everyone else that's the problem, not you. Take care of yourself.